So, welcome back to another episode. And as you can see, I'm not in my games room. It has been replaced with a nice Portland hotel and game sack. Absolutely. And we're at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. And we're in our hotel room and we thought, hey, let's do a video. And get a chance to talk to GameSack about their show and just to talk. To be absolutely honest, it's kind of a selfish thing. I want to talk to them about their early days of gaming because we're all kind of older guys here, gamers, and I just want to talk about what it was like to game back then and what kind of got them into it. And I'll start with you, Dave.
Lucky me.
You. What got you into video games? What was your first experience playing a game?
Well, my first experience playing a game actually didn't get me into video games. I mean, we, as a family, my brother and sisters owned an Atari 2600, but, I liked playing that, but it really wasn't what got me into gaming. What got me into gaming was actually, obviously, the Nintendo, the NES. I had a friend who had it, and he had, like, Castlevania and stuff, and I just loved playing that freaking game, going over to his house and playing that. I just have memories of that right there. And that's when I actually felt myself that this is something I really want. I want to do this. I want this game system. I want to play all these games.
That would be like 1987?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was definitely after the system was out for a little while. Because I didn't have one, and he had one, and it was definitely around 87 or so.
That's how I discovered it too, being at a friend's place and seeing it over there and going, "What the hell is a Nintendo?"
Yeah.
Remember the first time you said
exactly.
It was really unusual.
Jacked up.
Yeah. Like, what was the first time for yourself?
Well, for me, it was in the arcades because I would play my mom would do her grocery shopping, and there would be like arcade games in the grocery store. And, they have, like, Miss Pac-Man, Kangaroo, Q*bert, stuff like that.
Yeah, those were games,
And I loved those. And I'd do that all while she did the grocery shopping.
Yeah.
And then, eventually, when I played the Atari 2600 and I liked it, but we never actually had one. And I knew some kids who had one. But, I was never like, we got to get this.
Yeah.
And
the addiction hadn't happened then.
Exactly.
At that point,
Exactly. I thought they were cool, but I didn't think, I was like, wow. But the first console that I had, actually, it belonged to my dad. And it was is one of those all-in-one things with the controls, like, right on the console. I remember it was blue. It had these two wheels. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, really? Wow.
And, all it was is like, it had a Pong, of course.
Every game machine had a Pong.
Everything has Pong.
Yeah.
But this also had like a racing game.
Yeah.
And so that was cool. I mean, you just went left and right and dodged cards and just kept going faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
And, I thought that was cool as hell.
Yeah.
And that was the first, I wish I knew where that was, but I'm sure it's long since destroyed.
It's long since gone. You didn't have it in the attic somewhere? No.
Yeah. But when the Master System and Nintendo came out, I don't know what really prompted me to get back into video games. Maybe it was the arcade games that were made by Sega that I thought were really cool. So I kind of started looking more at the Master System.
Do you remember what the early arcade Sega games that you saw?
Yeah, like Space Harrier, Hang On, a lot of those, and they just blew me away.
Because they were the sit-down cabinets you were playing too. That's what I was playing back then.
No, actually,
I did the sit-down cabinets. Yeah.
Well, eventually yes, but originally no, because Outrun I remember it as a stand-up machine.
Yeah.
Hang On I remember, and I think because it's hard to remember exactly. Human memory is a fickle thing.
Yeah, especially when you get older.
Yeah, but you go to these arcades and I'm like, Sega, that's the name I remember being advertised on TV, is a Sega Master System. Maybe I'll check out some of their games.
Yeah, Altered Beast, that was made by Sega.
That was way before Altered Beast.
Yeah, but just the correlation of arcade games to Sega,
Yeah, but I'd check out Hang On. My dad really liked that because he was into motorcycles in real life. And then, the Outrun and the other, Choplifter.
Yeah, that was a big game back then.
Yeah.
It really was. And Defender.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I only played the Defender on the 2600.
Yeah, well, I played the arcades,
Yeah, but, that's basically why I went with Sega to begin with my own home console. I bought it myself with money I got, that Christmas.
So that was your first machine, was the Sega Master System. Why did you choose that over a Nintendo?
Well, like I said, the arcade games.
It's just like, this is what I want.
Yeah, like when I was looking at the ads, like in the Toys R Us guide, or we had Children's Palace. I don't remember.
Yeah, I do.
Lionel Playworld. But I'd see the games they displayed along with the picture of the system.
Yeah.
And okay, Nintendo has this, and Sega has this, and this. And I'd go to the arcade and I'd see all these Sega games. I wouldn't see any of the Nintendo stuff.
Right.
And so I'm like, hell yeah, Sega's awesome. And yeah, it turns out, Nintendo, they had more games. They probably had a lot more better games. Well, they did.
But from your perception, that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
And that's funny for me when I saw a Nintendo for the first time and I saw Kung Fu playing on it. I'm like, I saw this in the arcade, and I was like, it plays arcade games. So I had the opposite thing, but I had to get a Master System too, because there's no way I was doing without that. So Master System for you, religious experience? No?
Probably. I don't know. I
I
didn't
can't even remember anymore.
But
It wasn't the box art that got drawn into the fucking system.
No. But the Master System box art, it has a uniqueness of its own.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I mean, for some reason, it just really brought the system together.
The grid and
it looked like
grid.
you saw that and you knew it belonged on the Master System. It was a Master System game.
Yeah.
The Nintendo stuff, for me at the time, this was long after their black box stuff.
Yeah.
They were like, well, this looks like randomized books, and I was a fan of the clean, neat, and orderly.
Yeah.
And
right.
so that's what kind of got me. Just
a bit of an OCD thing going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you had that, and then what was your first machine then?
The Nintendo. The
was
NES.
the Nintendo.
Yeah, it was all mine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you paid for it yourself? You had a part-time job?
No,
Wendy's?
that was a Christmas present. Yeah.
Of course. It all was for us back then.
Always
You're
a
like,
Christmas present. Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I guess it was for me since I
Since
used
you thought it was Christmas money. Yeah.
Christmas money, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
same thing.
was it at that point that it was like, where I'm not kind of into this, I'm really into this? Like, where did the obsession kind of kick in a bit? Where you're like, I'm not just kind of casually playing, I'm really kind of into video games.
Mm-hmm. That's, yeah, I don't know. I mean, with Mario Brothers and, like I said, Castlevania.
Yeah.
I mentioned at a panel a while ago that at one point I was playing Mario Brothers in the arcade and actually got to World 3, whatever, where you can jump on the back of the turtle shell and constantly get one-ups after you. Yeah. And that's right there was one of the major factors that like, wow, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
To find something hidden per se that would actually do something different than let you just play from the beginning to the end. There's more to it than just going from A to B. There's stuff to do in between A and B to do. So,
yeah, games. At that point, you're starting to realize that games had more content. There was a little bit more going on than Pong.
Yeah, people are hiding stuff in here, and you're like, oh shit. Okay, I can. There's things going on here, and like Castlevania, being able to kneel down in certain spots, and something would come up in another area, like
Castlevania 2.
No, the first Castlevania had stuff in there too.
So you'd kneel down.
You'd kneel down, and then boop, 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 something like a crown would come up.
I thought it was two.
Shit,
two. You would grab the red crystal and you stand there.
A crown or a money bag, something would come up where it's.
What do you use a crown for in Castlevania?
Because you're king. I don't know. What the hell?
I've never seen a crown.
I've seen it
in the original Castlevania.
Yes.
Wow. Who knew? Well, I guess some people knew.
So this is a great thing that we got kind of go on in here. Is that when did you guys meet each other? Like, how old were you?
Well, 14, I guess.
14?
You were probably 15. Because that's when 14 was freshman year in high school.
Yeah.
And I remember we had, before the year started, we had to go down and wait in line for, I can't remember what, to get our class assignments, or I can't remember why. But we were downstairs, by the cafeteria waiting in that stupid line. And I had a list of names. And I remember the names, specifically David White. And the reason why I remember that,
why?
I do. But because before, that summer before, during summer vacation, I was always watching a show called Bewitched on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And it has an actor named David White in it.
So you're like, I got a star in here.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, this 50-year-old guy is going to my high school.
He's going to molest me.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say on a side note with Devil's Crush, if you put the name David White.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get directly to the ending, isn't it?
Yeah. You hit the ball. Really? You hit the ball. You put in David White in the password, and then you hit the ball, and the first thing it touches, boom, you're at the end.
You're at the end of the game.
So you see his name, that kind of resonates something in you, there's the ultimate meeting of, the fates kind of thing going on.
And then he met me, he's like, God damn it, this isn't fucking David White.
No. I knew we were talking long before the Turbo graphics came out.
Oh, yeah.
This is when they got married.
No, I know, but you're talking
when
about
we got married.
David White in Bewitched.
Yeah.
So when did you guys get together and say, "Hey, I play video games. You want to get together and play video games together"?
I don't know. Probably saw you reading in EGM or Game Players or something.
Yeah, we didn't like Game Players. Even I know that.
But yeah, no, it's probably I don't know how. But we eventually discovered that we each liked video games.
Yeah.
And there were a few of us at the school that did.
And that's what it was like. It was like a secret society.
Kind of
Like,
was.
you know, you didn't walk around going, I love video games.
No,
And like,
no,
I'm playing
no.
Mario 3 music on my Walkman. Even though I was. And But I was so scared to death in high school that if anybody heard that I had, like, you know, anime music on my Walkman, or I had video game eBooks 1 and 2, I had that music on my Walkman. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
oh, and I'm like, oh god, if anybody, I might get in like some shit for this, like some assholes. Like, what do you listen to? You listen to some weird music, and yeah.
You know, though, my mom is the opposite of you, because she'd hear my video game music.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want that. Put that on a tape for me. And she'd
Yeah.
play it. She'd blast it with her windows open in her car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
I know.
I'm so old that I used to have anime on beta, and I would hook it up to my stereo, and I'd tape the opening songs and the ending songs of anime. And listen to that. That's how I actually did it. And my mom would be in. So you have to understand, for like, this is like 1988. My mom would walk in, and it's like, you know, this Japanese music playing, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just taping the opening music and ending music to this anime I'm watching." Okay.
Why?
Okay, okay.
Shouldn't you be listening to Paula Abdul?
Because people have to remember that being into anime and video games in 1988 was a very strange thing.
Yeah.
Like, you listen to Japanese music, you watch Japanese
Yeah.
shows. It was so foreign at that time, and yeah, it was ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I discovered something absolutely like a treasure in video games and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I kind of wanted to share it, but yeah, there was a very small group of people in school like you
Yeah,
guys had.
and that's it. And then once you find them out, you kind of all congeal and get together and talk about all that stuff. And
Yeah.
You know, what's really weird, though, because, like, a lot of people like video games. Not everyone likes video game music. And what's cool is
Yeah.
that at least 3 of us from the school liked video game music. You, myself, and Tom.
Yeah.
He liked video game
Yeah,
music.
TB.
And TPB.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
We always talked about video games. Does it
Yeah.
have good music? That'd be like one of the first questions
Yeah.
you'd ask about a new game.
Did you guys really have a rivalry in high school? You know, being the Sega guy, being the Nintendo guy. Was there really, like, did you guys really bug each other? Like, I got more Kombat with blood and you didn't.
Not really. Well, kinda. I mean, I did with another kid.
Yeah, that's always another kid.
Because I'd bring my Sega Master System cartridges to school. And look how small this one look. Look how big yours is.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, how come yours is so big? And he eventually had enough because Nintendo has more levels, more stages, more power.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
Like,
But
it's funny. So I just got to tell you, this one is that I remember I got the TurboGrafx CD-ROM, and I was so excited about it. I was the only kid in probably the country that got one. And there was a kid down the street. His name was David Penfold. I still remember him. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh, Dave, like, he's a video gamer, but he's a really annoying guy. It wasn't that he was a nerdy guy. He was just an idiot. But he played video games, so it was somebody, as a friend, you know, in that regard he could talk to. I'm like, dude, I got the TurboGrafx. It's fantastic. It's amazing. You know, cinematics. He's like, yeah, well, the Sega CD's coming out. It's gonna kick its ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did you have to attack?
Yeah.
Like,
You know?
why do you have to one up it? It's not even out. You haven't even played much. It's really fun.
Yeah. I hate people like that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
going back to your
terrible.
original question about the rivalry, kind of yes and no. I mean, I remember you at least kept your Nintendo through Castlevania 3, and then we have kind of like a friendly rivalry. You know, like Castlevania has sweet ass music, whereas this kind of game on Genesis and stuff like that. And eventually, I brought my Genesis to your house. I don't know if you remember that day. Like, I think it was during Christmas break, and your brother came in while we were playing John Madden Football, of all games. And he's like, wow, this is actually better than your Nintendo, Dave. And Dave's like, yeah, it kind of is. So, next thing I know, Dave...
Shut up. Yeah.
Dave has a Genesis.
I did. I have at
Wow.
one point, because the Genesis was out, and I'm like, this is better than, looking at the graphics and whatnot. It was much better looking than Nintendo, and sold my Nintendo stuff and bought a Genesis.
You sold all your Nintendo, so you just...
I did.
You're like, I'm done with this.
I'm done. I'm moving on. And then the Super
What was that
Nintendo came
stupid-
out, and then I
stupid
sold
thing
my
to do?
Genesis. And
But
got
what was so
Super
you got a
Nintendo.
Genesis? What was your first Genesis game you got?
John Madden Football?
No, I don't
Yeah.
know. If it was that. Maybe Zany Golf. I don't know. No, I remember any Zany.
Will Harvey Presents.
Yeah.
I don't know. Woo.
No, it probably was not Zany Golf.
No,
I
I don't know what my for the
Because
Genesis.
you weren't an RPG guy. No?
Not much, no.
No,
I really
you
didn't
were-
get into RPG.
I would play them. Yeah.
But you were like hardcore because you did Fantasy Star. So when you got a Genesis, were you doing like Fantasy Star 2?
Yeah, I did Fantasy Star 2. I
Yeah.
did Sword of Vermilion.
Yeah,
I did most
yeah.
of those.
Oh yeah,
So,
all the
yeah.
classics.
Yeah.
And then for the systems after that, was it? Were you going from system to system? Like I need every system. Or
Well,
like, I'm okay for a while.
yeah.
So you sold your Nintendo to get a Genesis.
Genesis.
And you said you sold your Genesis,
to get a
Super
Super
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but that's back in the day when you don't
You
have
did
money.
that.
I
You
mean,
did
you're like,
that.
well, but I want to
Yeah.
be with, what's current, what's freaking sweet. Because I do remember that there was a local game store that just opened up, and they had a Super Famicom,
I remember
and they had Super Mario World. I'm like, fucking, hey, that looks freaking amazing.
When I went in
playing
there,
all the Mario games
they
on
had Pilo Wings, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Oh yeah.
Remote 7.
yeah, no.
Like, oh, that's it. I'm done. Brought my Genesis down to buy back games with my 3 or 4 games that I had at the time.
Isn't it
I would
funny?
like to sell this.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
more than that.
but when you saw F-Zero,
I'm sure
like
it did.
Pilot Wings, can you believe we were so impressed back then?
I know,
I'm
right?
always embarrassed about my. I'm like, oh,
Holy crap.
jeez, like.
And I'm like looking at that, like, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't sell my Genesis,
Yeah.
but I ended up getting the Super Nintendo.
And you're smart, obviously. In hindsight, looking back, I wish I never sold any of the stuff.
yeah, I still have my original
Of course.
Fantasy Star. I don't still have my original Master System,
Me either.
but I do have my original Fantasy
too.
Star and like a few. Like
So how did that happen?
I sold those games to TPB, Thomas Barnes. Yeah. So and I got them back from him
Oh, okay.
later.
All right.
But I sold my system to buy back
To buy
games
back.
because I had gotten the
The power-based converter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't need this anymore.
And I think anybody who
this
played
does
Fantasy,
everything for me.
anybody who spent a lot of money on Fantasy Star back then had the kind of
Holy
religious
shit.
experience. Like, I'm not getting rid of this fucking game.
Yeah.
Of all games, I let
I'll
everything
sell it
else
to
go.
Tom, but I'm not getting rid of it.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, how much did that first Fantasy Star cost?
It's like $70
Yeah,
for
it's
it in the
expensive.
US.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for Canada,
That
it's
hurt.
like 80 something.
Yeah, that hurts.
But yeah, definitely a game changer. But when did so you guys were friends all through high school, you were gaming together, stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, one more thing.
Yeah.
Back when we've told the story before, but we would record ourselves playing. I'd record myself playing game footage of Nintendo games on VHS and give it to Joe. And I don't know if you'd watch it or not, but
Of course I did. I watched those.
Yeah.
You're
Like
"You
that
fucking suck, man.
night.
You're
That
a
was
horrible
before
gamer."
the internet, so
Yeah.
you watched it.
So
You
everybody
got
here's
it.
the same thing.
Then
Record.
I'd fill it up almost all 2 hours of games. Like I'd rent, games
Yeah.
I'd rent. I'd like, here you go.
Here you go, and just
then
record
he
them all
put,
in.
he put like 1 or 2 games on his tape.
You don't
That's
have
all
those
I have.
tapes anymore, right?
No,
No,
I don't have
of
a.
course not.
I don't have a
Because
freaking
we just
VCR.
record over the tape again and again and again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
So-
so worn out. That's
Yeah.
what you do back. And that's another thing. You get a VHS tape,
Yeah.
and that would be your recording
You
tape.
fucking wear
And
it out.
that's it. You got one.
You wear
so
the
you're
shit out of it.
So it would be kind of funny. You're like, well, I got that. That Star Wars on there. Do I want to get rid of half of Star Wars or put a Robotech episode?
I know.
on
What
there?
do I want to delete?
What do I want to delete? Should
Goddamn,
I-
I want to watch that still.
I'll get to the end of
I feel like I have a tape
Mom,
of
can I
porn.
get a
Like,
T120?
what porn scene do I want to read?
Yeah, I know.
Some of the whole
Like-
MILF scene we'll get rid of to begin with, type of thing. But so were you guys were you ever separated? Like were you always good friends? Because me and my friend Andrew, he moved away, but we always kept in contact. You guys were always in
Right.
contact, always friends over the years.
Yeah.
Well, we lost contact for maybe a couple of months after we
Right after
graduated.
high school, yeah.
Yeah.
Because my phone number changed.
Yeah.
But that's
So he
Yeah.
said. So he said.
Yeah.
When was that? That Nintendo Power Fest. That was after high school, wasn't
No,
it?
that was during high school.
Was that
because
already
we went
senior year
we went
of high school?
after the school day.
Oh, okay.
So I remember that we went to
Yeah,
Wax
Nintendo
Tracks.
Power Fest came to
We went to Wax Tracks,
Wax
and
Tracks
then we went
Records.
to Power
Nintendo
Fest.
Power Fest.
Then back to my house to eat spaghetti.
yeah.
Then downstairs to play Golden
Play
Axe
some golden games.
Nice.
And,
in black and white.
yeah.
I had a black and white
Usual
TV.
Black and white
too.
TV.
I had that too.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
Yeah.
And Nintendo Power Fest, that was cool. It was like the first thing something came to our town that was strictly video game related. I'm like,
Where was that?
That was at the convention center.
They didn't have that built yet, did they? There's no way.
It might have been one of the related
Very good.
halls, like Kurgan Hall or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I think it was one of those.
Something related, but it was all Nintendo, and
Yeah.
they had like the Game Boy there, and
Yeah.
they had the chess, and it said like "Welcome to Chess" or whatever.
Chess
that's-
Master, welcome
to Chess Master.
Like, ooh.
Holy shit! The Game Boy's talking.
And I remember,
Oh
playing,
my God,
I remember
it's
playing.
alive.
I remember playing Game Boy Batman, and the screen, it flips into, when you start
the
the
title
title.
screen, yeah.
And I was like, wow, because Mickey
3D.
Mouse Castle of Illusion had done that. I was like, wow, the Game Boy can do what the Genesis was
Multiple
doing.
levels and
Like,
stuff.
wow, it's a really primitive trick. in all honesty, but it really looks cool.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Especially back
Little
in the day.
scrolling
Yeah, for
thing.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like, when did you guys? So you're out of high school, you get jobs and all that, but you're still like gaming is a big part of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we would get together to game, but we'd also get together to make random videos of nonsense, nothing. I mean, stuff. If you've seen any of our episodes, you've seen probably the What the Fuck episode where we, have shots back in time from 10 years ago to 20 years ago. Where we have
To
some. It's
50
like
years ago.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, how the hell did you guys get that footage? I mean, David has a fucking full head of hair. What the hell?
This was the Stone
holy
Age,
shit!
for Christ's sake.
People would actually ask that, and I'd just say CGI.
They believe it. They believe it.
Yeah, you're moving and the hair just moves wherever you are. Type of thing.
It's just pasted on.
Even though the video footage goes from high 8 to
Yeah.
Well, I gotta ask, when did you decide to do a YouTube show? Was it a long time ago? Like, what were you watching on YouTube? Where you're like, all these people on YouTube suck, and I can do it better. I want to do a better show than
How
them.
long ago was it? However older our channel is, that's exactly how long ago it
2011.
was.
2011 is when we decided to.
Was it 2011?
Yeah.
But I remember you guys had an older channel. Remember, you guys did a choose your own adventure thing. Was it back?
Yes, but we didn't do that for YouTube. We did that for a DVD.
That was one of the stupid things that we would do before YouTube. That's when we'd get together and just do
That's what I did
random
too.
shit.
Just do random funny videos.
Yeah.
Just try to think of something off your head, and usually it ended up crappy.
Yeah.
But you'd still do it anyways. And
I
we
did have
enjoy it.
older channels, but they were just like to upload game music or
Yeah,
just
music.
That's
Music
what,
for music
and then you
and
go
stuff
one
like
day
that.
and all of a sudden your channel's gone. You're like, oh, copyright. You're like, oh, damn. I remember because I had an old channel. I think it was called Kabuki Surge. Kabuki after Forest of Eden, and Surge after Chrono Cross. And I was putting up like Metal Gear music, and all of a sudden it was gone. I'm like,
Really?
Oh, wow.
I went one day and it's like, multiple service thing. I'm like, oh, I guess that's
What's
that.
this?
But
Yeah,
I
I know, right?
didn't care. But I was like,
Okay.
oh, I guess, yeah, I'll start a YouTube channel. So I kind of remember my moment when I started, I was just like, hey, I was watching like the AVGN. I was like, I really loved what he was doing, but I kind of wanted to do something about games that I liked. And
Yeah, not to jump to be the negative guy. But
yeah, and that's his shtick, and it's
Yeah.
like a comedy thing, and it works for him, and it's great, but I didn't want to do the same thing. That's not what I want. I want to talk about games that kind of we grew up with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I was happy when you guys came on. I was like, thank God are the people that are covering this stuff.
Right.
The old games.
Yeah.
That's what I'm meaning, the old
Yeah, not
stuff.
just like old, Nintendo games like Mega Man, but stuff that no one talks about,
Obscure
like
stuff.
Ease, Phantasy
Yeah,
Star,
yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Because when I came into YouTube, there was nobody doing E's, so I'm like, I had to talk about E's, and there's nobody doing fancy. I'm like, I gotta do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get in front. So my thing was this: I didn't want to get in front of the camera. I felt really nervous at first. I'm like, I was like this. I remember the first time I was like sitting on my couch, I had my bandana on, like I had a cigarette that was just over the corner. I'm like, yeah. So Fantasy Star was important to me and stuff and all that. So
No,
it was
your voice was way deeper in those episodes.
way deeper. I was much more of a man back
It's
then.
weird.
It's like a cigar smoker,
Yeah.
Cigarettes really do a number on you. Absolutely, they do. So, so when was it like you were watching YouTube and you're like, yeah, I want to do a fucking show. That's kind of what when was it happen type of thing.
I don't know why we decided just to. I mean, we had the idea for a while. I don't know if we.
No, I think we were. I don't know if we were running out of Well, we always
talk
run
about
out
this
of
in the
ideas.
documentary
Yeah,
and the
we do.
upcoming Blu-ray.
Yeah, if that ever comes out, you'll be happy to
Yeah.
see it. But yeah, I mean, we're just kind of running out of ideas of shit to do, and YouTube was, we would watch channels like Spida,
Spida
1A,
the Turbo
big
Guru
fan of him.
reviews.
Yeah,
Yeah.
huge,
in which, dude, if you're watching, please make some more videos, man. Come on.
Yeah, we love it.
yeah, we like
We love your
we like
stuff.
you having
Love
a
it.
social life, but fuck off. And
Yeah.
keep making videos, So
Stuff like that, and we're like, we can do shit like that. I mean,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
had ideas of contrasting the Nintendo versus Sega.
So we
type thing.
kind of always had the the combative type.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
idea.
obviously that's something that would people can relate to.
Yeah.
Was that always the original idea, or did you have other
Yeah.
stuff in mind?
No.
Well, we always had something that involved conflict.
Yeah.
Just taking a picture over there. But yeah, something that involved conflict, because if you're just like sitting there, hi, I'm Joe, hi, I'm Dave, here's Mega Man, we both like Mega Man, the end, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
wanted to
How
create
awesome
like,
would that be?
like a group dynamic, a couple dynamic
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing,
something, yeah.
like a married couple.
And
Yeah,
it seems
like
to
a
work. I mean,
Yeah.
I think at first we were pretty good at portraying that, and then I think over the years we still portray, but it's just not as strong.
It's not as like forced.
In
I
your
noticed
face.
that too.
It's
That's
not
not,
in your
as represented.
But people
at the
still see
beginning.
it, and they still
Yeah.
comment on it.
I
Yeah.
mean, we still put that in there. I mean, why not?
Yeah, of course.
If I can take a pot shot at Nintendo,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
do it.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, Did you think that your channel would ever get as big as it has? Are you happy with the success of the channel? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
by all
of course,
means.
I'm definitely happy, but I didn't. Well, honestly, when I first started, I thought it'd be fairly successful because a lot of people were really successful, not putting a lot of work into their videos. I saw a lot of people doing that. It's like, how did they get these many views?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we can do that, and I'll put just a little bit more work, and then.
And you're a professional editor, so you're like, hey, I can pull this all together.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen that way. That's not the way it works.
So, like, for anybody out there who's like starting a YouTube channel, did you was it like, okay, I have the camera, then I'm going to do the green screen? Were you setting up each component before you even start to do an episode?
We just winged it, and then when we get like to a certain point, it's like, okay, we could do this, well, let's try this and see if this works. Yeah. And then okay, then we started building the room. Jen helped a lot with that.
Yeah.
And
all of it.
no, we did not do all of it.
There's a nice time lapse video with Joe sitting in the middle of the chair.
Joe's
working
behind
around
the camera over there.
Now I'm gonna have to send you that.
That's great. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
But that was just a painting.
Yeah.
She did all the painting.
Okay.
I hung the drop ceiling.
I helped do it.
So did
Anyways,
I.
but we got to the point where we needed a actual set to go on, not just flip flop in between each other's houses.
I think that's what I was going to ask. Is like, were you confident? You just winged it, but didn't you say like, I'm going to have green screen? I'm going to do this. You had an idea for the show and how you're going to pull it together.
Yeah. Well, when we originally built the studio in my basement, we didn't do the green screen, and then we tried it. We had a much smaller one and see what we could do, and then we're like. Well, at least I was like, it'd be good if my game room was in the background, but I want to, most people have the camera pointing at their games. I was like, I want to turn it around and point it towards where we actually play.
Yeah.
And so I took a picture of that, and then we tried it, and then it's been there ever since. I've taken a few different pictures, but it's been.
And that's cool because you can put the TVs back there, and you can put different graphics on the TV,
which I rarely do.
But it's there. I mean, it's noticeable when it happens.
People are like, "Oh, you always left your Nintendo on."
Yeah, because you can see the light on there.
God.
So I turn it on when we do the show. Okay.
Is there a master list? I get asked this a lot for myself. Is there a master list of episodes that you have?
Yeah.
I got your secret list, and how many is on the list? You don't have to say what's on the list, obviously.
Oh, you mean of episodes we want to do?
That you want to do, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah. They're not numbered, but there's quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not for people to view though.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, for sure. But you always have to, you're never running out of ideas. You're like, oh, there's always that to do.
Yeah, yes and no, but sometimes we'll be wondering, okay, what are we gonna do for our next couple of episodes? And then we look at the list don't want to do that now.
And you got weekly now, so you're like, it's like more.
Well, it's the same thing still because even back then I would be like, that one's gonna take a lot of time, so just push that back and stuff like that.
Maybe work on that over a long period of time. But I mean, but I don't know. We've got to the point where we can do. We got a lot of, obviously, in our comment sections, we get a lot of, you forgot this game, you forgot that game, you forgot this game.
Yeah, that's always best part of a lot of
stuff. I can't believe how much we forget.
I know. But in the end, that spawns, we can do a part 2, part 3, part 4, of all these games that we forgot.
It's scary when you get something wrong, like I did a video on Ernest Evans, and I'm talking to the camera, and I film all the thing.
Which was great, by the way.
Thanks. I had a bit of fun doing it. Yeah. But when I go to edit it, I'm like, I said it, came on the Sega CD in Japan, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh shit, I said Sega CD instead of Mega CD. I'm like, but is that really a big deal? And I'm like, I went to the games room, I sat down, turned on the camera. I'm like, I did this. I went Mega CD, and then I took the card out, brought it back, and I sliced it, and I took that out, put it in, and I put a little bit of footage over it. So it's like, this game was only released on the Mega CD in Japan.
I didn't even.
I do that a lot.
You have to do that
when I'm recording my VO dialogue. I'm sitting there putting it together. It's like, oh, I mispronounced this word, or I said something that's completely stupid. So I'll go back down, record one sentence, come back up, put that in.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're gonna get called out. You're gonna get.
If I didn't change the Mega CD, it was called the Mega CD.
And it was America and North
America. And I think when people are watching the shows, they're so into it at times that they just want to say they want to be a part of it and say you guys got it wrong. I don't think they're trying to be assholes.
No,
but
sometimes it comes across as
Yeah, they don't
They're-
mean it that way.
Yeah,
but
I know,
Like,
but
sometimes it comes
it
across.
comes
across
condescending.
it's only when it's like, you fucking shitheads forgot.
And
you
they
know?
do that, and then you respond to them like, "Oh, dude, I really love your show. Actually, it's great."
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, well, why'd you fucking say that? Why'd you come out being so
This,
offensive right away?
the life of YouTube, honestly, it's really awesome. It really is. I think I'm not probably 99% of the time, but 1% of the time when you're like, oh damn, I fucked up.
Yeah.
It happens and all that
yeah.
for sure. So, well, guys, I'm so happy that you could come on and
it was awesome to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
thank you
could
for
get
talking
together
to me.
and do all
Yeah.
of this. Finally, we could do it.
Yeah.
Like it's. I don't know when we'll be able to get back together because we're not in the same city.
No.
Colorado and Vancouver.
Or even in the same country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even in the same
Exactly.
country. So, anyways, guys, until next time.